Okay, without further ado, here we go. Uneducated people might think that people like me, who speaks out so confidently about the spiritual reality of our world, are just crazy, or even outright stupid. But what they don't know about me is that I've actually studied near-death experiences for more than 10 years, and that I have analyzed hundreds of such testimonials. Basically, that makes me one of the few world-leading experts on this topic. Neither do they know that before I started listening to such testimonials that I, as an atheist, a non-believer, spent a lot of time inside of my own head trying to understand how something like a soul could even exist. And if it did, what that would tell us about our own universe. As a neurodivergent computer programmer, I was a very logical person, kind of like Spock in Star Trek. And I needed a logical framework for this whole we have a soul thing if I were to believe it. So basically, I went inwards and thought hard until I figured it all out. The biggest problem I kept running into was this: how would souls actually work? Imagine a planet with 8 billion people. Where would 8 billion souls come from? If souls are eternal, did they just hang around then and wait until they were finally needed? And what if the population suddenly grew by another billion? Then what? Would a billion brand new souls just spawn into existence? Or would people simply stop being born because there weren't enough souls available? Without a satisfying answer to questions like these, the whole concept of souls is difficult to believe in. But then I found a way of thinking about it, something we actually can wrap our minds around, something easy to visualize. Imagine placing your hand into a two-dimensional world, like a flat sheet of paper inhabited by two-dimensional beings. Those beings wouldn't see a hand. They would just see 5 separate shapes appearing in their world. So, from their perspective, the 5 shapes would seem completely independent because they couldn't perceive the higher dimension connecting them. To them, those 5 objects would simply look like 5 separate beings. So, I wondered, what if our 3-dimensional world works in much the same way? What if we appear to be separate individuals only because we can't perceive the higher dimensional reality that connects us? What if our source, figuratively, is like a lump of clay which can extend parts of itself into our 3D world whenever needed and just retract them when not, so that when we die we just merge back into the lump we came from? We could also think of this like a tree with lots of branches, where we, our human lives, are just the leaves on a branch. And maybe such a branch is your higher self, your true soul, where the leaves on it represent your other incarnations. A tree-like structure actually allows for multiple separate higher selves, each with their own incarnations. Yet higher up, they're all connected to the same source, the same tree. So really, there is no separation, only the illusion of it, to allow for an interesting game of souls and incarnations. So I came up with all of this on my own by going inside of myself for the answers. And I figured that the source was consciousness itself, and that everything else is derived from it. Everything else, a fantasy inside of consciousness. Not only that, but I also had my own spiritual experiences, like seeing a ghost and figuring out how to leave my own body, to have so-called out-of-body experiences. I even dabbled with telekinesis, mind over matter. I also had spiritual dreams, for the lack of a better word to explain them. And in one of them, I was shown what we all are. I was shown that I am perfect, and that I am love. Basically, we are all perfect lumps of love at our core. So when listening to the NDE testimonials, I could actually confirm the truth of their experiences, and they would also solidify my own understanding and expand upon it. So no, I'm not stupid. I have merely stumbled upon the truth.